You're listening to a Weeby Geeks Network podcast.
The Dining at Disney podcast. The Dining at Disney podcast. Your ultimate source about the wonderful world of dining at the Disneyland and Walt Disney World resorts.
If you are what you eat, then I only want to eat the good stuff.
Kristen Hetzel-Go and Jay Bratton are your guides on this culinary adventure.
We'll prepare and serve with flair a culinary cabaret.
Join them as they discuss the latest food news, expert tips, recommendations, and trip planning advice related to Disney food and dining. From quick service to fine dining, you will discover all the best restaurants and food as they hungrily explore the Disney parks.
It brings folks together from all walks of life.
The Dining at Disney podcast. And now, your host, Kristen Hetzel-Go and Jay Bratton.
Welcome to another episode of the Dining at Disney podcast, your ultimate source for delicious discussion about dining at Disney World and Disneyland. I'm your host, Kristen, and with me is Jay Bratton. Today we have a lot of topics we're going to be discussing. Our main one is going to be what our favorite places are to go get a drink. And these are like 21 and up drinks, not just any kind of drink. So we've got quite a list going on that. And then we've got some Disney news for you as well. Before we get into that, just want to say thanks for downloading the show on iTunes, streaming it on Stitcher, or watching this on YouTube. Be sure to like and subscribe to our feeds, and don't forget to tell your friends. So let's go and get into the appetizers. What kind of Disneyland news do you have today, Jay?
Oh, well, we have a few items of note. The first one actually has to do with both Disneyland and Walt Disney World resorts. Basically, Pop Secret is the official popcorn of Disney, of both the Disneyland and Disney World resorts. I thought that was kind of interesting because before they didn't really advertise who provided the popcorn. A lot of people said it was Orville Redenbacher. But, they didn't, Orville Redenbacher didn't have like any of their logos or anything like that on any of the popcorn carts or anything like that. And so I thought it was interesting because Pop Secret is starting to put all their logos on all the popcorn carts around Disneyland, or at least that I saw, not all of them yet, but, I've seen a few of them already tagged with it. Have you seen it yet?
I have not. I'll have to look for it when I go.
Right. And so I haven't tried the Pop Secret popcorn yet at Disneyland. I'm just wondering if it's going to be the same or different. I should have gotten it, but, because I was just there a week and a half ago. But, it's just one of those things that there's so many things in my mind, just popcorn. Popcorn is not something I normally get. We discussed this on a previous podcast episode. It's just, when I think of popcorn, I think of movies. And so, when I'm at Disneyland, the main reason I get popcorn is for the popcorn buckets.
Oh, yeah.
But I also found it interesting that they're sponsoring the Fantasmic show at Disney World, but not Disneyland. So I'm not sure what the deal is with that. Yeah. And the other thing that was also kind of cool for me was that they're offering movie nights at some of the resort hotels. Now, I don't know the full details of this. They didn't really post much about it on their blog on the Pop Secret company. Well, I think they're owned by what's the name of their parent company? I can't think of the name of the parent company off the top of my head. But anyways, in their press release, they had indicated that they're going to be doing that, and that I think that's really nice because when you go out to Disney World, especially, Disneyland, you kind of go and usually people stay for a week or whatever, whereas Disney World, sometimes people stay 2-3 weeks. And, sometimes you want to break from the parks. You can't just keep going. You got to kind of have a little day of rest and relaxation. And, when you have a family, then it's nice to take them, for a nice, little outing where they can just relax and watch a Disney movie of some sort.
I wonder if they're having popcorn served when they do the movies and the hotels.
Right. That's what I would think, right?
It seems like it.
Yeah. So that's kind of cool. Hopefully the popcorn is better. Like I said, I wasn't a huge fan of it before. It just I don't know, kind of a little too salty and buttery for me. I mean, I love butter. Don't get me wrong. Butter is awesome, but it's something about it. It's just when I eat some of it, and after a while, my mouth kind of has that little cloying, sticky sensation inside. And
but remember, it's really, the butter.
Right. True. I mean, well, the butter substitute. Yeah. Right. So.
I wonder if I don't know. It'll be interesting. It's been a while since I've had their popcorn, so I don't think I'd be able to tell you like if it's different or not.
Right.
I have to say it's
the parent company is Diamond Foods.
Okay.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, they're the ones who make the almonds and stuff like that. But anyhow.
Yeah, I haven't.
Then also, there's a bunch of, since we haven't talked about Disneyland since our you guys did the special Disney World episode last time. So I just wanted to kind of briefly cover. They have some new merchandise for Halloween. Halloween's fast approaching here. It's less than 2 weeks away. But they have this vampire Mickey bucket. I know they have it at Disney World as well. Have you seen it?
I have not.
Okay, so this thing is a hot seller. People are just going nuts over it, and it's amazing. It's really cute, and we wanted to get it. Unfortunately, they weren't available when I went a week and a half ago. But it looks pretty cool. It's him in his sort of tuxedo / vampire wing kind of. It stands out.
Now that I think about it, I have seen it.
Okay. Right. So that one's kind of nice. And like I said, popular seller. The other one they have is a popcorn bucket that features a cartoon from back when there's the pie-eyed Mickey, and it was a cartoon called Lonesome Ghosts. And I think it was 1937 that this was produced. And I watched it online. It's really a clever little cartoon, just very, very classic Mickey Mouse cartoon feel. And it was fun. It was a fun thing to watch. And you can look it up on YouTube. And a lot of people have posted it up for viewing. And also they have a sipper that goes along with it. So it's like 2 different scenes, basically. So it's nice. It's very cutesy and whimsical. I like it. And then the last one that they brought about, no, this isn't the last one. This one is actually one that they had from before, and it's the Zero popcorn bucket. The one Zero from.
I want that.
yeah. They had the same one last year, but apparently the one that this version, the version for this year, is a glow in the dark Zero. So before it was just Zero, and then he had the lighted nose, but this time around they actually used whatever type of material that they need to make it glow in the dark. So that's kind of cool. That one was available. It's not as much of a hot seller as it was last year, because last year was new and exciting and people were going nuts over it. But this year it's just like, oh, it's there, and maybe I'll get it, maybe I won't. They don't have that at Disney World?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm thinking probably not, because you guys have your Haunted Mansion decked out, and we don't.
That's true. Right. The Nightmare Before Christmas theme.
Yeah.
Also, then the other one I know that you do have for sure at Disney World is the Poison Apple Stein. And this one kind of looks like a coffee mug, or like in the shape of an apple, but then it's been with melted wax or something over it, and it kind of looks like a skull. And it's yeah, it looks really cool. It just, the only thing that, for me, it's not like Disney, it's not really Disney per se. I mean, it's the poison apple, yes, but it's not like an iconic figure. It's not like Mickey Mouse, or, it's not like like Zero or whatever, like a character. I mean, it's an allusion to Snow White, obviously, with the poison apple, but you know what I mean? It's not like, if I saw that at Universal Studios Hollywood, I would be like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool and clever, but I could see that there because it's just not Disney branded. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I still have to have one. I think it looks super cool.
Yeah. Well, they do, and someone showed a picture of it with a tea light inside, and that was pretty cool. That's a nice
That's a good idea.
Halloween decoration. Yeah, it is a great idea. So anyhow, so that's it. They have some nice stuff on. They always have good merchandise for Halloween. So I'm glad that they brought that again this year. Then the other thing, they have some special treats, and this one is a first for Disneyland. They're kind of really putting an emphasis on celebrating Latino culture. So they have this Dia de los Muertos goodies. They have the Dia de los Muertos goodies at Disneyland, and it's like the apples. They have the marshmallow wands and also the crispy treats. And I saw it in person, and these are really cool. They're really colorful. And I mean, if the only thing, it's so much sugar, just like with any of the treats that they have, featured on a periodic basis or whatever, month to month. It's just like, wow, you know what I mean? It's just, I guess maybe if I had it in the morning and then I'd be amped up throughout the day, but it seems like, wow, just so it's like sugar on top of a sugar, because it's like the apple with white chocolate with caramel. And then the decorations are made with sanding sugar and, more caramel and then marshmallow decorations. So it's just like, just
too much for you.
You got the sweet. Yeah, it's too much for me. But I mean, for the people who are in the suites or whatever, or if they're going to share it, then, it's a nice little, special thing to have to celebrate the Dia de los Muertos, which coincides with Halloween. So that's nice that they're kind of putting more emphasis. Because I know, during Christmas they also have the what's it called? The
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the Viva Navidad.
Yes.
The Viva Navidad. And that's fun. That is really clever. I love I'm looking forward to seeing that again this year. Just they have that little mini parade, and then over at Paradise Grill, Paradise Garden Grill. They have the special menu with all the Mexican food and things like that. So it's fun.
Yeah, I think these look super cool. And I'm wondering, because they're doing that movie that's based on that. So it's going to be interesting to see when they do that, if they carry some of these treats that they've made for you guys over to Disney World when that movie's launched.
Sure. It's a good test market because, like I said, there's a large Latino population in California. So, if they're going to debut it anywhere, you might as well debut at Disneyland first. So, and then also before, right after Halloween's over, we have to think about Thanksgiving, and they're going to have a special celebration at the Disneyland Hotel. It's like a huge buffet. It's like one of those bling-in buffets that you go to on special occasions, and it's really expensive though. That's the only thing. It's like 70. How much is it this year? 70 something. 72. No, 76. 76.99. So basically $77 a person. But it's kind of cool because this is not like your average buffet. This isn't like, going to Storyteller's Cafe or the other, what's that? The Paradise. At the, oh my gosh. PCH Grill. There you go. This one is like, they got lobster and shrimp and, multiple,
nice.
Multiple styles of bread, got rolls, they've got breadsticks and, they go all out. And so, it is worth it in a way, but it's still pretty darn expensive compared to like some of the other restaurants that have high-end buffets as well. So, I'd like to try it one of these years, but Thanksgiving is like one of the most special days for my family when everyone gets together. So that's the reason why I've never gone. But, who knows, maybe I'll just kind of forego my family celebration and just, check it out and check this out at Disneyland.
It sounds pretty cool though.
Yeah, definitely. And if, for the people who don't want to spend $76.99 a person, they are going to have, and you're at Disneyland on Thanksgiving Day, they do have special menu items all throughout the resort. I'm not going to go over the entire menu because it's pretty extensive, actually. But if you want to check out our website, diningatdisney.com, and you can look at the entire Thanksgiving Day dining guide, we'll have it in the show notes so you can check that out. And last but not least, we have the story about some new coffee mugs coming to Disneyland and Walt Disney World. It amazes me, how creative they can get with these mugs. I'm astounded that they're able to have all these original ideas and it's a drinking vessel. You know what I mean? It's just like, how much, can you put into it? But obviously they sell enough to make it worthwhile to continue making designs. I guess in a way it's almost like collecting pins or something.
I used to collect them, and then after a few years, once I started, really, it became too much because it used to be I'd go like every 2 to 3 years. And then I would always bring back a mug or two, and I've got some really cool ones. But now I'm there so often that I'd end up with this ridiculous collection of mugs. And I'm like, no, it has to be something like super, super cool that I'm like, I have to have. Right.
Well, for me, I don't drink coffee. I've never had an interest in coffee mugs as a collector thing. But I won't go over all the designs that they have, but one I will point out that I think is really clever, and even though I won't be getting it, but I think it's just really clever, is the one that they modeled after Alice in Wonderland.
I knew what you were going to say.
Yeah, the Alice in Wonderland, the teacup ride at Disneyland. So, and what's cool about it is that not only does it look like the teacup rides, but the saucers attached to the mug itself. So I thought that was very innovative, the way that they thought about that.
Yeah. I like the fact that it indents where there would be a door.
Exactly.
That I was like, that's good. It could have just been that they left it as different pieces, but to put it all together the way they did and then make it clear where the door would be is, yeah.
Definitely.
I have to get one.
The other thing too, and this is not the coffee mugs, but just something to note. One of these days, I'm going to have to do like a pictorial and a story about all the salt and pepper shakers that they have at Disneyland as well. Well, just not Disneyland, but both the Disneyland and Walt Disney World parks that they carry them out. But they've come up with some really innovative salt and pepper shakers, like the ones that are modeled after the trash cans at Disneyland. That's just clever.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I'm going to have to pick up something to bring back for my friends that got married a couple weeks ago. Even though I already gave him a wedding gift, they're big Disney fans too. He grew up in a family that, they went to Disney every year and all that kind of stuff. So I'm thinking that I'm going to have to get them something.
Yeah.
New. What? I'm not sure.
Well, that's cool.
But I had thought about the salt and pepper shaker thing because those are pretty cool.
Yeah. Definitely. And then the other thing that they, coffee related, I guess, is that they made a special blend for the Sanaa restaurant at Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge. I ate at, is it Sanaa? What's the one there's Jiko and there's Sanaa, right?
And Boma.
Okay, so I think I ate at Jiko. And so I haven't eaten at Sanaa restaurant. But what Sanaa restaurant? What style of food is that? I mean, well, obviously it's like African, right?
Yeah.
Cuisine.
Yeah.
And then is it like counter service or is it?
It's table service.
Table service. Okay.
Yeah, it's just going to
be.
But
Jiko's the higher end one, though, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
And then Boma is a buffet.
Okay.
That's one of my favorites.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. They have this really awesome bread sampler that you can do. And one of the options is to get the 9 sauces.
Ah, interesting.
That's one of my favorite parts. I'm like, ooh, so many sauces to try.
Oh, yeah. Well, you and I both. I mean, we love to sample food. You know, what I mean, it's just,
it is so.
I love,
so good.
I love the. Yeah, it's. I love having a variety of food. You know, I grew up. You know, my mother's Korean, and so we always had like little side dishes. You know, they call banchan, and so you know whenever we had, you know, nice dinners and stuff, I always remember like just having a wide selection of things. I can just get a little bit of this, a little bit of that, you know, and so I like dining that style as well, because, you know, sometimes I just, you know, I want to not graze per se, but I want to try everything. I love all the different flavors, you know, the comparing and contrasting the different flavors and textures and stuff like that. It's just fun.
That's a good place that you have to try it next time then.
Yeah, I was told Boma is really great as well. So yeah, I'll have to hit up both places next time I go.
I like Boma for breakfast, but for dinner, I have found it over the years to be very inconsistent. Even within a meal,
oh really?
Be inconsistent.
Okay.
I know it's one of those places people rave about, but it's one of those places that I never find it to be the food to be consistent. And so it's kind of, to me, it's kind of a bummer, but, you know, I still go back. But their breakfast is phenomenal. They've got some awesome breakfast items.
Cool.
Speaking of Joffrey's, I do want to mention that right now on the site we have a contest going on where you can win a Joffrey's Coffee Trio. It's 3 1-pound bags of Disney Parks Resort Specialty Coffee Collection. There are rules and all of that, terms and conditions that do apply, like with, you know, every other contest that ever goes on. So you should check it out. Just visit Dining at Disney. You'll see off to the side that there is a banner you can click on to enter to win this. And it goes through the end of this month. And November 2nd is when we'll announce who the winner is. I mean, it's nice. 3-pound bags of coffee, and their coffee's like about $14 a pound. It's not a bad.
That's cool.
I want to enter to win, but I can't.
Well, okay.
I wish I could. So
Sure.
Let's see, what other news do I have? There's a waterfront brunch now offered at Narcoossee's. It begins starting November 22nd, so right before Thanksgiving. The price is going to be $69 for ages 10 and up, and $41 for ages 3 to 9. So you can check that out. And then Tortuga Tavern. Okay, it's been a big deal with the fact that Pecos Bills changed their menu. So many people have been upset with the fact that they got rid of their burgers and menu items like that. Well, they made it a Mexican fare. And everybody was like, well, you can go to Tortuga Tavern. Well, of course, a week later, they announced that Tortuga Tavern now has the new menu. And their menu is going to focus on barbecue. So they've got some sandwiches that come on Texas toast, served with coleslaw, baked beans, but you can choose from like pulled pork, sliced beef brisket, grilled chicken breast, and I'm excited about this menu. I know a lot of people were, you know, bummed about Pecos Bill getting rid of the burger, which I was like, yay! Because, as you know, I say all the time, I'm like, Disneyland has the better quick service menus. There's more variety. Well, you already had the 2 large locations in Disney World or in Magic Kingdom. When it came to quick service, both had burgers, chicken, you know, the same kind of fare. So it's nice that one of them has changed up, and now Tortuga Tavern has changed its menu as well. I'm looking forward to it. It's on my to-do list when I go.
So where's Tortuga Tavern located?
It's actually connected to Pecos Bills, but it's right before you exit Adventureland and turn the corner into Frontierland, which is where Pecos Bills sit. There's actually like a ramp that connects the 2 restaurants. So when you're inside, often people see like a rope, and I'm sure a lot of people don't realize that you can go and walk up that if it's not, you know, closed off, and that takes you to seating where Tortuga Tavern is, but they're connected, but in technically two different lands.
So I guess I'm a little confused. Tortuga Tavern, my assumption is it alludes to like Pirates of the Caribbean.
It's right across.
Okay, so but they didn't have barbecue back then. Why are they serving barbecue?
I don't know. It seems, I don't know. Unless they're testing it out, just see what it's going to do, before they launch it over.
To me, it's yeah, I know. I mean, it's like Smoke Jumper's Grill. It's like, why don't you have barbecue? I mean, it's smoke in the name, just, I don't know, whatever. I mean, I would, maybe they could go like, instead of Mexican food. I mean, I went to, I spent some time in Miami, and when I was there, over here in California, they have a place called Pollo Loco, which is like Mexican style, chicken that's, grilled and things like that. And then when I was in Miami, they had something similar, but instead of Pollo Loco, they call it Pollo Tropical. And essentially it was a blend of like Puerto Rican and Cuban and, that type of, food. So I'm just like, well, why don't you do that instead? But, whatever.
The only thing is it could be because this is a Tortuga Tavern seasonal. So they're testing it out to see how well it does. And if it does well, also add it to Pecos Bills or switch up Pecos Bills. I mean, it always made sense to me that, Tortuga Tavern had Mexican style food. It just, made sense to me. But the fact that they've switched them up, if we're thinking about it in terms of theming and what goes with theming as far as food, yeah, it should be reversed. But I'm excited to try both. So,
yeah, it sounds like cool. I mean, it sounds cool. I'm always up for new menu items,
I am, because I get tired of eating the same thing. And I don't even, it's not like I live close enough that I'm there every week or every month.
Right.
Just,
Well, they over.
I want menus to change.
Yeah. The over. I this isn't really kind of newsworthy in terms of like writing a full story about it, but they took away the baked potatoes they used to have at Harbor Gallery. And I guess they're having them over at the Troubadour Tavern. They moved those over there, which, makes a little more sense. And then at Harbor Gallery, they introduced two new menu items, a lobster bisque and a fisherman salad. So I tried them both, of course. The lobster bisque was, it just, I don't know, kind of almost tasted like it came out of a tin can, which is, that's the reason why I'm not high on it. I mean, it was very rich and creamy, but it just kind of like had that almost metallic tinge to it. And then the fisherman salad. Have you ever had a tuna niçoise salad before? Okay, yeah. So essentially the same exact thing. The only difference is the dressing, because you just have to pick one of their standard dressings that they have available, and then and then instead of the seared ahi tuna, it's canned tuna. So it's all cooked tuna and shredded, just like you get out of Starkist or whatever, Yeah. So, anyways, but it was good though. It was actually surprisingly good. When I see canned tuna, my expectations are lowered a bit, and this thing actually exceeded my expectations, so that's a good thing. And I would have no qualms about eating it again, because it's a nice, healthy option that you can get instead of turkey leg or chimichanga or whatever.
Yeah, when you said, of course, you said canned tuna, I'm like, eh.
Right.
But if you say it's good, next time I'll have to try it then.
Yeah.
And then let's see. I have one last thing before we get into our big discussion. And it is that Lickety Split at Four Seasons Orlando is going to be offering a Barista Bootcamp. They're doing a whole series of unique classes that are going to be offered between now and December 31st. But in December, that's when they're going to be doing the barista ones. And it's going to be 2 hours, and you'll be given a chance to learn different ways to make coffee. You get to create, let's see, where's that at? I just lost my place. How to make the perfect single drip cup. You'll also learn how to add some holiday cheer to your coffee beverages, creating 2 different coffee cocktails. So those will be nice for having a little party. And then the art of latte art. That's hard to say for some reason. So you'll learn how to do some cool designs like Christmas trees and snowmen into your coffee. And those are going to be taking place December 5th, 12th, 19th, and 26th. And they're from 5 to 7 p.m. at Lickety Split. And the cost is $75 per person. Reservations will be required. There is limited space. And I've got the phone number on there. It's 407-313-6161. Again, if you want that information, it's on Dining at Disney. So, Jay, let's get into the best places for beer, wine, cocktails, you name it, adult 21 and up beverages.
Sounds good.
I'm ready for you to kick it off.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll start with Disneyland then. All right. Well, as we all know, Walt, when he built Disneyland, didn't want to have alcohol on premises. So, well, of course, with the exception of Club 33. Regardless, so when it comes to beer, wine, or cocktails, there's not really much to say except if you're a member of Club 33, kudos to you because you're one of the few people that can actually drink an alcoholic beverage on property. I guess I would have to mention, though, that there is one non-alcoholic cocktail that you can get, and that's the mint julep. And either you can get it at the Blue Bayou restaurant if you're not going to be dining at the Blue Bayou. The other alternative is the Mint Julep Bar, which is right next to Cafe Orleans. French Market, excuse me, right next to French Market. So if you want to grab one of those, it's a bit on the sweet side. For me, it's like I've had a traditional mint julep and I've had that, and now I'm just like, okay, it needs it. It needs the bourbon in there, you know what I mean? But it's nice. It's a nice sweet beverage for people who really enjoy that. And if you've never tried it, it's definitely worthwhile trying. And because it's one of those iconic treats that Disneyland is known for. And then we get to DCA, and of course, Disney California Adventure has all kinds of options available to grab an adult beverage. So I'm going to break it down for beer, wine, and cocktails. Okay. So for beer, what I'm doing, it was a tie because I love the Cove Bar. I've extolled its virtues over and over again about, it's one of my favorite dining spots. And, if my father was still alive, then I would, take him there for dinner for a nice little, just the ambiance and, looking over the water and, saying Mickey's Fun Wheel. It's a great, relaxing environment. And, you're just drinking a beer, just like it's a perfect setting. However, there's also Sonoma Terrace. Now, this is a place I discovered. It was basically last year. It was one of those spots where they used to distribute the World of Color dining packages there, the picnic package. Mm-hmm. And they got rid of that. So now it's basically like a little beer, craft beer station, if you will. And they have a lot of different beers. The only downside is everything is in bottles. There's no taps. But, they do have a really large selection of beers available. And the setting is just wonderful because it's in a shaded area. There's plenty of, a lot of people don't know about it. They just kind of walk by it. It's right by Wine Country Trattoria. And you're walking towards the Paradise Pier area, like towards Goofy Sky School. Many people don't realize that there's, a nice little seating area that you can kind of sit back, relax, have a beer. And they also have like a little cheese plate and a charcuterie plate as well. And they're actually pretty decent quality food. But, that's it. I mean, it's not a place where you can order like appetizers or anything like that. It's a prepackaged deal, for as far as the charcuterie and the cheese plates. And then it's also an awesome spot to, if you see the Pixar Play Parade, and since a lot of people don't know about it, you can actually post up and you're in the shade and you're on an elevated station. So you have a nice view of the Pixar Play Parade as it goes by. So definitely check that out. And then as far as wine is concerned, again, this is one of those newer places that I sort of overlooked all these years, and that was the Alfresco Terrace. And I wrote up a story about it that people can read on the Dining at Disney website. I did a nice little review, and they have appetizers there. And I really like those risotto balls that they had. It was really good. It's like crispy and crunchy on the outside, nice cheesy and fluffy, tender on the inside. It was like the perfect risotto bite. And then the wine selection, as I pointed out in the article, and I think we discussed briefly as well, that they have all the Disney family wines. I mean, they got Lasser Winery, they've got what's his name, oh my gosh, all these Disney legends. Of course, Diane Disney Miller.
And
what's
I
that?
can't think. I can't remember.
Yeah, one of the parks executives anyways, you can check out the story and you can get the full breakdown of everyone who's ever been associated with Disney. It seems like they have a winery and they feature their wines. Right, definitely. Fess Parker, of course.
I can't
Fess Parker, right?
The one that belongs to Kurt Russell.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but. Yeah, I'll put a link to the show notes so people can check it out and they can see the full breakdown of everyone that has a wine there. It's like the wine menu is like 6 pages long, but it's not just wine, like just a boring list of wines. It actually gives you some history and background of the wineries. So it's kind of cool. I really enjoy that. It was almost like, like coffee table reading, you know what I mean? Like a coffee table book.
And they have nice flight options too. That way, if you want to try, a couple different wines, you've got that as an option too. Right, exactly.
You're more in tune with wine than myself, so I'll take it. I'm assuming that you know what you're talking about. So
I went there. I think I go there every single time that I am at Disneyland. It's like I can't miss. I'm in there at least once. Sometimes twice. I just like it there. It's a great view. You're above the park. You can have this amazing view of Cars Land at night. I mean, it looks so cool from up there. One of the Disney cats lives up there, so you'll see the Disney cat, and it's just a nice place to sit down, relax, and talk. And it's not noisy. There's not a lot of people up there, so it's perfect for that.
Yeah, that's the time that I went, it was in the afternoon. So I was like, you know what, I have to come back here at night because I could only imagine, since it has that viewpoint of Cars Land, that'd be totally spectacular.
It is. It's a phenomenal viewpoint.
So, and then let's see, for cocktails, I'm going to say Carthay Circle Lounge. And this is one of you can get the Scotch Mist at other places around the resort, but I don't know, something about the ambiance and, with all the old time classic Hollywood pictures and stuff, it just seems like the most appropriate place for that. Either there or the Steakhouse 55 Lounge, would be a good place for the Scotch Mist. But, that was Walt's, purportedly it was his favorite drink. Have you ever tried that before?
I have not.
I've tried it. And man, I tell you what, Walt had a high tolerance for that hard stuff, man. Because I sipped it and I was just like, I mean, I literally coughed when I drank it because it's just so potent and powerful. And it's just like, okay, I mean, it's Scotch with like a little like the lemon peel or whatever in there, and it just I could not tell that there was any lemon in that whatsoever. It was like a lemon zest. Yeah, I said lemon peel. It's a lemon zest. Wow. And I just really it was pretty overwhelming for me. But I also like they have the little martinis and they have well, now because of the diamond celebration, they actually have a machine that makes ice cubes in the form of a diamond. So that's really nice. And but
Cool.
yeah, it is really cool. And then also the other times, when before they had diamonds, and I'm sure that after the diamond celebration's over, they had the spherical ice molds. And I don't know how they do it, but whenever I see people make those ice, those round sphere ice cubes or whatever, it's like it's always like kind of cloudy and stuff in the middle. This one is like perfectly clear, and it's just amazing that they're able to get it. Like it looks almost like a crystal ball.
Huh. I know that to do it at home, you have to boil the water twice.
Right, exactly.
It has to boil, it has to cool, it has to boil, it has to cool. And that's the only way at home you can get wine that looks like that. I'd be curious how they make them that way without doing that with that.
Right.
Interesting.
I think they get a special water, actually, if I remember correctly, because I talked to the bartender. This was several years ago, so I'm not sure if I'm recollecting this correctly, but hopefully I'm right here. He had told me that they actually imported a special water from Alaska for those ice molds, or for the ice cubes. So, hopefully I'm right. If I'm wrong, then maybe he was, pulling my leg or something. So who knows? Maybe he's a former Jungle Cruise skipper, and then that's the way he likes to play around with people. So, anyhow, so that's for Disney California Adventure. Downtown Disney Anaheim. I should just say Downtown Disney now, right? Because there's no more Downtown Disney in Florida.
Not anymore.
Correct? I mean, it's Disney Springs now, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So Downtown Disney in Anaheim. For beer, I like the Uva Bar. And the reason I like this place is because, first off, they have a nice variety of beers on tap. And it's also a cool place to people watch. I mean, it's right in the heart of downtown Disney, so you get to see everybody going back and forth, and they have music going on. They have the, at nighttime they have the special, like live music bands and everything. I mean, so it's really cool. Just a lot of, you can really feel the vibe there. As far as wine, I guess the best place for that, I would say, is Catal Restaurant. That place is a Mediterranean fusion establishment, but it's higher end. So they have a large selection of wines that are available. And, it's part of the Patina Group, which, a lot of the places in downtown Disney are as well. But they put, I guess, a little extra oomph into their wine list at that establishment.
It makes sense too, because the Mediterranean countries are known for their wine, so it makes sense that would have a superb wine list.
Yes, and for cocktails, I would say Tortilla Joe's. And this is if you love margaritas, if you love tequila or mezcal, whatever, this is definitely the spot to be. I was amazed when I went there for lunch. I saw the whole wall of tequila. It was just dark ones, light ones, silver, the clear tequilas, and it's, the mezcals, and it's just like, wow, it's just totally amazing. And, a lot of high end stuff. And so if you're into that, I had a bad experience when I was younger. So tequila is really not my cup of tea, so to speak. But for people who like it, I'm not against tequila. It's just I have to be very limited on how much I drink of it, because I remember that wicked hangover that I had when I was younger. Because yeah, definitely. But regardless, it's at nighttime they have the little outdoor bar that's really lively and just really conducive to drinking a margarita. It's just very festive. So it's like, if you're going to drink a margarita, that's the perfect spot to be. So.
I do really like their margarita bed.
Right. Then the last last section of the resort is the Disneyland Resort hotels. And for beer, of course, Trader Sam's Enchanted Tiki Bar. This could also be a great place for the cocktails as well. But I have another location I think that is even better in my opinion. But I'll get to that in a second. Anyhow, I mean, everybody knows about Trader Sam's Enchanted Tiki Bar. It's, just really great place to be. Lots of drinks. They have some beers on tap. Not a huge selection, but they are Polynesian inspired. So it just kind of gets you in the mood. They have, one of the things I like is the Kona Rock Fire, the Kona Fire Rock Pale Ale. That's my favorite, one of my favorite beers. And then for wine, I would say Napa Rose. Now, either Napa Rose, you can either go into the restaurant itself because all the wait staff, they're trained sommeliers. Well, not the wait staff, I should say. All the servers are trained sommeliers, not the people that bring you the bread and water and that type of thing. But your server will be a trained sommelier. And they also have that little new machine that we talked about in I think it was like 3 episodes ago, where they take that really expensive bottle of wine. They have that machine kind of plugs into it, and then you can just get like a little taster, like 1 ounce, 3 ounce, 4 ounces, or whatever. And you don't have to buy, that the $800 bottle of wine. You just get, little taster of it, and just see if it's really worth that much money. So, so again, Napa Rose or Napa Rose Lounge is a perfect spot for wine. The last place then I'll mention, and this is for the cocktails, is the Hearthstone Lounge. Now, this place I think is really overlooked. A lot of people don't realize that it's there. It's really classy, and it's kind of like, it's like rustic classy, if you will. I mean, it's kind of like, that seems like almost like an oxymoron, but it really feels like upscale but also rustic at the same time, because it's part of the Grand California Hotel and Spa. And they have all similar cocktails as any other place around the resort, but it just, I don't know, something about it, the ambiance and everything just really kind of makes you feel like relaxed and comfortable. And it's a really nice lounge setting, just comfortable seats, and then of course they have the bar seating as well. But I really like the lounge area, and it's just conducive to having a nice, just relaxing cocktail.
I have not been there.
You haven't? Okay. Oh, also, I was going to include this as a tip, but I don't know if, I'll put it in a bonus tip later. This is also one of the only places that you get free grub, free food. It's not like, regular food. It is a bar mix, but the snack that they offer you is like a spicy peanut Chex Mix type thing. And so it's really great. It's like salty and a bit spicy, but it's not so spicy that it's just like, you're like trying to, cool your mouth off, but it just kind of slightly warms your mouth. So when you're drinking that cold cocktail, it's like perfect, it's just like, oh man. And it's one of my favorite snacks. Definitely next time you go, you should check it out.
I will have to do that. I'm gonna end up with this ridiculously long list for my next trip of all these places that I need to go to.
Right. So that's it for Disneyland Resort. Yeah.
Okay. So over at Disney World, and I didn't do mine like as nice and neat as you did. Like I didn't select one from. I selected a variety of places for different. Well,
you have a lot of options too there, so that's I can imagine. Sure.
So Magic Kingdom, there is only one option, and it's Be Our Guest restaurant, and you can't just like walk in and go, hey, I want a cocktail. No, you have to actually have a reservation, be dining and eating food and all of that good stuff. So again, it's a dry park except for Be Our Guest, and it's because it is a higher end, kind of menu. It's a little bit more upscale than your, typical park food. And being French cuisine, the wines, the French beers, Belgian beers, pair really well with the food. To bring the best guest experience there, they did allow some alcohol to be served.
So it's just beer and wine, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so actually, I remember when they first announced this, I thought it was just going to be wine only, and then but you were telling me that they do have some beer, right?
Yeah, there's either 3 or 4 beers, and they're Belgium and French.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, you can't get, like, if you're thinking you want a Budweiser, that's not happening.
Yeah, well, yeah, that wouldn't happen with me anyways. Budweiser is...
I don't ever drink any of those. I'm like international and craft or local beers. That's my thing.
That, yeah, I'm with you 100% on that. And yeah.
So Epcot has quite a variety. I mean, there's 11 countries represented there. And I selected some of my favorites. One is in Mexico, you have to go to La Cava del Tequila. Both there and La Hacienda de San Angel, which is the restaurant, have fantastic margaritas and tequilas. And they do have a tequila ambassador. Her name is Hilda over at La Cava. And so they know their tequilas. I mean, there's so many to choose from. It's and mezcal. If they have the scorpion, if you're into eating scorpions, you can ask for it if it's left. But they do have a bartender there who is often the one who consumes them. So, me on the other hand, I'm not eating the worm and I am not eating the scorpion. But if that's your kind of thing, you can do that there. Also, if you're looking for cocktails, I would say France. Because they have, and I can't think of the name of it, it's a drink kiosk. It's right along the World Showcase Lagoon opposite Le Chef's France. And they have the Grand Marnier slushie that everybody loves. And there's a Grey Goose slushie as well. So that's where you can go to get that, as well as some delicious wines. Two of my favorite places to go to both have beer. One of them is Rose and Crown Pub and Dining Room, where you can get all kinds of United Kingdom beers. One of my favorites is they have the Bumblebee, which is Boddington's and Guinness. That's one of my favorites. And then Germany, anywhere in Germany, there's 2 different beer kiosks that you can go to. There's Weinkeller, which is the wine shop. They do have beers there as well. You have Summerfest, where you can get some beers. It's the quick service. And Beer Garden, where you can get a full liter beer should you choose, and wines as well. And that's the buffet restaurant. So anywhere in the Germany Pavilion, you can get good drinks, and it's the one place, it's like my must-do. I have to have a German beer and a pretzel.
Especially this time of year.
So I will even make sure I have room for that during food and wine, which is hard because there's so much other, stuff to eat and drink that's not there all the time. But I have to have my German pretzel and beer. So that's Epcot for you. And then over at Disney's Hollywood Studios, Hollywood Brown Derby has its own outdoor seating lounge. And it's seats separate from the restaurant. And that's a nice place where you can get a nice cocktail. You can get some beer or some wine, sit back, relax. They also play there. You can order some small plates, sample some food, and enjoy like a nice drink or wine. They do have like I think they're called Hollywood flights, but there's one that's martinis, there's one that's margaritas, and those are good to do as well. And my must-hit place is always Tune In Lounge, and it's part of 50s Prime Time, and it's located where the seating area is in the restaurant, but it's their bar. They have amazing bartenders that have been there for a really long time, and they know their drinks. I mean, they're good at what they do. And I go there so often that they, like 3 of them know Alton and I by name.
That's cool.
That says a lot of how I spent time in a bar when I don't even live there and the people know me, So, Dave, and Elena are awesome bartenders, and they've got some fun cocktails. There's like Dad's lemonade and things like that you can get. And they've got a good selection of beers. And even if there's some drinks you've had in some of the other locations around the parks, they have, if you ask them, some of them even know how to make the drinks that don't exist anymore.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That's pretty cool. So that's Hollywood Studios. And then over at Animal Kingdom, I have to go with Dawa Bar. It's located outside of Tusker House, in the Africa area of the park. Outdoor seating, and it's a good place to get out of the hot sun. Like, say you want to sit outside, but you don't want to be in the sun. It's all covered, so you can sit outside. I always have a beer. They have Safari Amber, which you can get there, and you can get at the Animal Kingdom Lodge. That's it. So I always sit there and have a Safari Amber. They do have some signature cocktails as well. So that's kind of my place to kind of like chill out when I go to the Animal Kingdom. I have at one point met up with a friend and spent like 4 hours just sitting there. Wow. And been like, okay, well, I guess I didn't see much of the park today, but it's just a nice place to kind of, just kind of relax a little bit. And they have a little area outside where you can watch a live band perform, and that's kind of fun too. So, and then for Disney Springs, Dockside Margaritas, which opened, was it earlier this year or the end of last year? Maybe earlier this year. But they have fantastic margaritas. All of them are made fresh. So it sits right along the water, and it gives you a nice view of downtown Disney. You can just sit back, relax, and listen to live music. They had a guy playing guitar and singing when we were there. But that's a good place for that.
They have a good view of downtown Disney, huh? It has a 3,000-mile view.
I don't know what the view point is. It sits right along the water.
It's the view of Disney Springs now. You gotta get your
oh gosh,
get your terminology up to date now.
I know it's gonna take me a while. I mean, this is a new change.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I could imagine it'd be an abrupt change. But it's actually, I'm glad that they did that, because it was just sort of confusing saying, downtown Disney. When I think of downtown Disney, I always think Disneyland, obviously, because that's where what I know. But, whereas you say downtown Disney and, in your mind, it's, where you're at. And so, in Florida. So it's like, okay, but now it's clearly delineated. They've got Disney Springs, and then they've got downtown Disney. So
what's funny is when I'm writing my post, I think Disney Springs, but when I talk, I still think downtown Disney.
Yeah.
Take me forever, I know, to like get that out of my head. I've gone past the fact that it's no longer Pleasure Island. I don't remember the last time I said Pleasure Island, but it's going to take me a while to think the landing when it comes, our marketplace. Well, marketplace is pretty much still the same, so it's West Side. But to think like town center once that section is done, to think in those terms and say Disney Springs, it's going to take us some time. But so Dockside on the marketplace side of Disney Springs. Also over there, which sits on the water, is the Lava Lounge. It's part of Rainforest Cafe. And you can sit out there and actually watch the volcano go off. I don't remember how many minutes go by that they have the little lava do its explosion. But
really? Is it like, how big is it?
Explosion. Do it?
How big is that? The lava, whatever, the volcano?
You can see it from, like, if you're up in the hot air balloon, which is on the west side, you can still see the volcano go off if you're on the.
Oh wow!
So it's kind of.
So is it like similar to like Las Vegas, the what you call it, what's the name of the place with the volcano in front of it? I think it's not Mirage. Maybe it is Mirage, that they have the volcano that goes off every, 20 minutes or something like that.
Gosh, I'm trying to think. I mean, it's good size. It's not, I mean, I don't remember.
It doesn't matter. Just curious. So
it's big, but not that big.
Yeah, I didn't even go to downtown Disney/Disney Springs when I was there, so I have no reference point for that place.
Oh,
so
it's gonna be. You're really gonna like it once it's completely done and you see it, because it's really different what they've done with it. It looks.
Next time we go, I'm going to try to allocate a few more days, because we hit not only Disney World, but we also went to Universal Studios as well. So that's the thing, is that we're trying to pack in everything in a very kind of abbreviated time frame. So I just, this time, next time we go, I know where to go, for how long, and what I want to see and what I really want to see, and what it's just like, okay, I can skip over, because it's basically the same.
Yeah.
So.
And then in the landing area of Disney Springs, I have 3 locations. One is Raglan Row, because they have a great selection of beer, whiskeys, things like that. Because, I mean, it's an Irish pub. It's huge. I mean, you've got the restaurant itself where you can sit inside, and then there are 2 different outdoor seating areas that you can get drinks at as well. So you've got a lot of choices of areas to sit when you visit that place. And it's good Irish food. I mean, the guy who owns the restaurant, Master Chef Kevin Dunnan, still lives in Ireland. So it's
interesting.
And he makes sure he comes and he checks the place out, makes sure it's, what he wants, and he makes changes to the menu occasionally. He's always there in Orlando, I know, during Food and Wine, because he does a couple of things at that time. So that's a favorite of mine. It's one of my favorite restaurants in general. So it's always a do not miss for me, especially for the beers. And then the Boathouse is new. And in addition to the big bar that they have inside the restaurant, there's one that sits out on the water too. So that's a really cool place to sit, relax at night, take in the whole atmosphere of Disney Springs, enjoy a nice drink. And then I haven't been there yet, but I will soon, and that's Doc Lindsay's, because that just opened. So that's on my to-do list. I haven't been there yet, but that's going to be, I think, a fantastic place for cocktails.
It sounds like fun.
I'm looking forward to it. And then for resorts, I'm going to go with Trader Sam's Grog Grotto as one of them. I mean, I feel like you can't not have that on the list. It's not as good as the Enchanted Tiki Bar, but it's still pretty good. And it's unique. I mean, but it has a whole different feel from any of the other places that you can go and have a drink. It's just a unique, interactive kind of experience, I think, when you go to the 2 different Trader Sam's. So that has to be on the list.
Definitely.
I like, for relaxing and grabbing a drink, is to go to the Wave Lounge. When you take a seat there, it's not like you're going to go, wow, this is amazing place. It's not necessarily about the atmosphere, but it's not loud, and the bartenders there really know their stuff. And they're really great to sit down, talk to, and enjoy a drink. So I had to put that on there. I've been known to escape Magic Kingdom when it gets really busy during the day and head over to the Wave to have a beer, sit down and relax and chat with my friend where, you're not with the craziness of being in the park.
Can I ask you a quick question? Sorry to go back a little bit here, but at Trader Sam's Grog Grotto, do they have, are the bartenders there all former Jungle Cruise skippers as well?
I do not know.
Okay, because they do that. That's one of the cool things about the Enchanted Tiki Bar, Trader Sam's Enchanted Tiki Bar at Disneyland Hotel, is that all the bartenders were former Jungle Cruise skippers. So they all have that sort of lively, tell you a story and pull your leg kind of feel, when they interact with you. It's pretty cool. And so I just didn't know if there was.
I felt there was a difference in the type of cast members. It might be, but that's not the case.
Okay. Just curious. Yeah.
I'm
Cool.
going to have to find out now that you say that, because I did not realize that about the Enchanted Tiki Bar. So
yes,
I'm going to have to find out if that's true about Grotto then. I didn't even say where that was located. It's at Polynesian Village Resort. The Wave is located in the Contemporary, as well as the next two that I have on my list, and that is Top of the World Lounge. If you're a Disney Vacation Club and you're staying at Bay Lake Towers, you have to check this place out because it's at the top of the hotel. It has an amazing view of the fireworks over at Magic Kingdom because it overlooks that. So that's a great place. It's nice, it's quiet, but again, if you're not DVC, or staying there, you better know the secret way to get in.
What's the secret?
There used to be a secret way to get in, and I don't know if you can still get in, but there was a way that you can sneak in to that place in the past. And I don't know. I just followed my friend, and you go through these different places to get to it. And I couldn't do it on my own. I would need my little friend who knows the secret way to get there. But if you're also looking for still another good view of the fireworks, California Grill Lounge. You can order off the menu. You don't have to have a reservation. And it sits at the top of the Contemporary Resort and has a fantastic view of the fireworks. They've got a little place where you can walk outside and watch them. And it's worth doing, I think. And then if you're looking for a little bit more of a lively kind of atmosphere, over at Coronado Springs, which is one of my favorite resorts, is Rick's Lounge. And you have to be 21 and up. They will not allow somebody to come in that isn't. And it has kind of a Latin club kind of feel to the place. But upscale kind of feel. It's a really cool vibe, and they do have some unique drinks. And every now and then they'll do something depending on if it's a certain holiday. They might have some kind of drink that is influenced by that. So that's pretty cool. And then I have two others. One is going to be, and this one again has to do with a view, and it's and it is the restaurant located on top of Four Seasons Orlando. You don't have to be staying there to get there, to get to dine there, or drinks or anything like that. But it's located at the top of the resort and has an amazing view that overlooks all of Walt Disney World. So you can see all the different icons from the different parks from the top of there, and it's got. You can sit inside and have a meal, sit at the bar and just have cocktails, or you can go and sit outside where you have the most amazing view. So I've been there once for cocktails, and I'm actually going to be going back real soon and having a meal there, so I can't wait. And then
it sounds like a good time.
Oh, it is. It's got the view is what you're like, wow. You could be out there and see fireworks going off at Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, and Epcot. I mean, what are the chances you could see? I mean, of course, they're not going to be as close, but it's a really cool place to get to, just kind of chill out and relax.
Yeah, sounds like it.
And then Peacock Alley, which is located at Waldorf Astoria, Orlando. It's as you walk into the hotel. You've got your check-in desk on your right, and then if you walk a little bit farther off to the left side is Peacock Alley. And they have this amazing drink that they make called the Peacock Egg. And it sits over glass, and it's a big ice egg. And inside is the cocktail.
Interesting.
It's really
that's kind of cool. That's clever.
It is. It's a really good drink, and it's in a nice place, you know, in the evening, kind of wind down or maybe sit at the bar, grab a drink, and kind of just stay inside and avoid the heat. I mean, it's a really cool place. They do have, on Sundays in the afternoon, they do their tea time there. And then, like, right now, because they have their food and wine weekends going on the weekends, there's a little chocolate area that is set up on the far side of Peacock Alley, and you can get chocolate and champagnes or sparkling wines. So that's a nice way, I think, to end your night, like, during the Food and Wine Festival. You know, go over to Peacock Alley and have some chocolate and champagne and just relax. So those are all mine. I know mine was not as organized and as specific as yours, but I had too many places that I had to mention.
Yeah, no problem.
So I think it's time to wrap it all up and finish the meal with our dessert.
Sounds good. Do you want to go first, or should I go?
Tips. So I'm going to let you go first with your tip.
Oh, sure. Well, you heard about the sort of the bonus tip that I provided before about the little snacks that you can get at Hearthstone Lounge, which is kind of cool. Also, you know, I love beer. I mean, beer is like, that's my thing. You know, I'd rather have beer than wine or cocktails or whatever. I think it complements a meal fantastically in all situations. And if you're into beers like me, and you want to know, like, what's at the resort, you know, because, you know, there's a lot more than people realize. I mean, you know, you can go and you know, you get the Bud Light and then whatever, all the other, you know, kind of commercial beers at various locations. But, you know, if you want a listing of like craft beers or specialty beers, local beers, that type of thing from breweries that are from around the area, there's a guy named Dan, and he has a really great Instagram and website called mousebrew.com. So the website is mousebrew.com, and it basically contains a listing of all the beer varietals being offered at Disneyland Resort. And this guy lives in the Anaheim area, so he goes to the park a lot. I mean, I'm talking about at least, yeah, it seems like every like 3 days or whatever. So you follow him as well then.
Yeah.
And if you check out his Instagram account, you always see him like, I mean, it's amazing how much beer this guy drinks, which is cool. But it's like, you know, like, wow, you know, like it can probably get expensive, I would assume as well. But regardless, yeah, definitely you could check him out on Instagram.com/mousebrew and see the latest thing that he's doing. He also has a YouTube channel. I'm assuming it's probably the same thing, and he has like a little bit of an instructional video, like, you know, okay, well, this beer is at this location, this beer is at that location, so it's kind of cool to see him break it down. And hopefully, you know, I'm thinking one of these days I should hit him up and say, hey, you want to be a guest on our show, because I think it would be really informative.
Yeah, I mean, I chat with him on Instagram when he posts stuff. I comment on his posts and stuff like that. So we chat back and forth, you know, via Instagram. So yeah, I'd be all about it. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Do a beer show.
There you go. I would not be against that. That's for sure.
I'm not either. So I think that should be on our to-do list.
Absolutely.
Okay, so my tip then is going to be, since we are discussing drinking and going to the parks, that if you are driving and you're planning on having more than a couple of drinks, don't get behind the wheel of a car. Uber is a great way to get around and safely get around. I mean, I've used Uber the whole time I was in Anaheim last time we used Uber, you know, because our hotel was over a mile away from walking distance from the parks. So rather than, I think we were about 1.5 miles. So we used Uber. Like, that's going to be safe. You know, you always always end up with somebody, really nice driver, comfortable, vehicle. It's not like getting into a cab, which I'm not a fan of getting in cabs. I'll take an Uber alone, but I will not take a cab alone. So that's one way to get around. And if you are staying at Disney World, one of your options is to always use Disney's transportation. Just remember, be safe, be responsible. You don't want to hurt anybody else or get yourself hurt, because there is nothing, there's nothing worth ruining your vacation over and having a good time. So that's my
So I had a question, like, if, let's say, somebody gets plastered or whatever, and they're at, they drove to whatever, let's say Epcot or something like that, okay? And so they get plastered, and it's just like they're obviously in no condition to drive home, but they drove the vehicle to get to Epcot. What happens to that vehicle? I mean, do they impound them, or, do they tow them, or just leave them, give them a ticket for parking overnight, or what's the deal with that?
I would think you could mention that to security there, that you were leaving your car, and let them know. And I don't think there would be an issue with it. I mean, because of course Disney would much rather you be responsible.
Sure.
Than, and it's not like Uber taxis have to pay in order for them to go drop you off or pick you up. So It's not like you couldn't easily get back to get your car that way. And yeah, I don't see Disney going, oh yeah, we're going to tell you, you had too much to drink and you're leaving your car here. I think as long as you mention something, because they have security that drives to the parking lot throughout the night. So, some people do get in and camp out overnight for certain events and things like that. So that's what I would do. I would just mention to them, be like, hey, I had too much to drink. I'm going to come back and get my car tomorrow. I just don't want it to get towed. So I want to let you know why I'm leaving my automobile here. Because of course, it's better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I think that's all for our news today, unless you have anything else to share.
No, that's it. I hope everyone has a happy Halloween, and I'm going to be enjoying it with my new Chernobog. Did you see this? I had this sucker going on. This guy going on all the entire show. I'm very. It was expensive, and this thing was the most expensive sipper I've ever bought. I think it was around $27 or something like that. So it wasn't cheap, but I'm so happy I got him though, because he's actually big. I mean, he's bigger than the Stein that they had over at Disneyland as well, which is, you compare it side to side, and he's just about a half-inch taller. But yeah, I'm very happy, and I'm not going out trick or treating, but I might take it out with me if I have to run to the store or something and just show it off.
I almost got one and then didn't, and I wish I had, because that's so cool.
Yeah, it is.
I need to start collecting some of those things. I'm like, I'm going to need like a way to start collecting. I was talking about this with Jeff Davis from W60 on Sports Radio. We were discussing, he has a collection of things like that, but his are all put in a closet because he has no way to store them. I'm like, no, you've got to find some way to display all of those, buy shelving and put them all out or something. You can't have all those cool things hidden like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I need to collect some of those. When I was there, Aljon did get the Boba Fett mug.
Well, I mean, the problem, I guess it wouldn't be a problem. It might, I guess, because you travel by air though, right?
Yeah, it doesn't make it easy.
I mean, some of those popcorn buckets are huge, so it's, it takes up a lot of real estate in the luggage. But,
especially since I've got all my camera and things like that I'm not about to put in my checked bags, and some
yeah, exactly.
You don't want to put in your checked bag because they're so rough with luggage. And I was like, and ended up not getting in.
Yeah.
Not that I could have gone at home, because we had difficulty trying to get everything that we could packed that we did get. It's just not easy. It's like I need a whole empty piece of luggage to take with me so that I can ship all that stuff home with me. So, but yeah, I need to get one of those. It's too cool. Maybe it'll still be there when I'm there in January.
There you go.
So since that's everything, then I guess it's time to tell everybody, Jay, where to find you.
You can find me at magicalfoodtour.com, and then all the social media outlets, YouTube, so forth and so on. It's all at Magical Food Tour. And if you're into hearing about Disneyland Resort news and up-to-date information of what's going on and our opinions and thoughts, you can check out the DizGeek podcast, which is at dizgeek.com, and on Twitter's at DizGeek Podcast.
As far as Dining at Disney, you can find us on diningatdisney.com and follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Periscope, Dining at Disney. On YouTube, if you're watching the video there, of course, you know it's the Dining at Disney. We are part of the We Be Geeks network, so we would like to thank We Be Geeks for hosting us. And please download, subscribe to us on iTunes and give us a 5-star rating and review. Jay and I really would appreciate some 5-star ratings. Tell us what you like, and then tell us what maybe you want to hear, or you can email us at podcast@diningatdisney.com, because we are always open to to ideas for shows, which, like today, this was one of them. It was, one of our listeners, Terry, he was telling us, hey, I want to hear this. Where's the best place to get some drinks? So there's the show. And I think that's everything. So Thanks for listening, and bon appetit.